5 secrets to retiring rich. I know we all want to retire rich. We don't want to be poor. We want to be able to have enough to really live the life we really want, to be able to experience all the things we really want to have, our kids, our families, our spouse, to really be able to live this life that we really want. And people are like, oh, it's so hard. I can't get there. The fact is true. It is hard. Most Americans never will make it. Most of them, about 40%, will be either broke or bankrupt in retirement. Absolutely flat broke. Most people are living off their Social Security. They have very little left over after that. And hopefully they even have that. And that's because they didn't understand these 5 steps, which are really important. If you just took $10 a day, okay, and if you think about it, if you started working at 20, let's say, I know I had a paper out at 13, so I could have started this at actually 12 years old. I could have started this at 12. And I think I did. I actually took money, and every time I made money, I just took half of it and saved it and kept building it. And I did that for every job that I always had. So I always kind of compounded and built up what I had. Unfortunately, a lot of times I would have to tip into that pot because I was just trying to get by, and eventually we were able to start this company and all this stuff went really well. But think about it, $10 a day. I know that sounds like a lot for some people, but it's only about $3,000, $3,600 a year of what you're saving. So if you could just save $10 a day, and if you did that for your whole working career, say 45 years, so 20 to 65, you would have accumulated, if you could figure out a way, which you guys have to figure out an investment policy statement and rules to where to put your money. But if you could earn 7% on it, which is what I think you can do if you have these rules-based investment strategies that we always talk about, you put that to work, well, you would have $1.1 million built up on the accumulation side over that 45-year period. So the moral of the story is, if you're going to start doing this, you got to start right now. You got to start early. You got to focus on being proactive, making sure you are paying yourself first. You are your most important person. You are your most important creditor. And we actually do this. We have gross income. How much do you pay yourself first? How much do you protect yourself, right? Because if you don't have protection, then you're in trouble. Then how much do we pay on our liabilities and our debt? And then how much do we have left over in net income? So when we're looking at our cash flow statements, we really want to spend a lot of time in that area and make sure. If you need help on this, we can definitely walk you through our cash flow process to teach you how to be better managing of your cash flow. And there's other tools and stuff that we have, like within our Future Hack book and then our Invest for Life playbook as well, where you can start to learn these types of things. So number 2, make investing a priority, right, in your future. So make investing in your future a priority, not just investing. You got to set money aside today for expenses that'll be out there in the future. What are those expenses, you may ask? Well, the first thing is most people want a better standard of living. So if we set aside just 3% just for an increased standard of living, that I used to be just fine, living in like a house with like 10 people in it so I could save rent. But now it's a little weird, right? We have families, we have a wife, have kids. They probably don't want us to be bringing down that cost of living for money. So now, like, we have to pick all that up. So our increases in standard of living is increasing. So I got to take 3% of my income and just set it aside for that. I also have increase in taxes. So 3% for taxes. I also have inflation. So every dollar that we make today is worth less and less and less if we don't put it to work. So we got to set aside another 3% for that. Okay. And then we also have technological change. So I have an iPhone here, right? This is the most newest one. I always get the new one, right? Call me crazy or whatever. I just want that. But technology is changing so fast that you have to have these things to keep up. You used to not have to have a phone and all this stuff. If you don't, you'll be lost behind. So you have to have this technology to continue to go. And then the 5th thing, finally, is planned obsolescence. Everything that you have today is designed to break, okay? Like, I don't know how many times they go and their washer machine's broken and the refrigerator and all these things, they don't last. So if we could take 15%, so 3 for the 5 factors we're talking about, and set aside, you're investing for your future. And those are just for those things to be there. And that's what creates that wealth. So 15% of your income, setting it aside and you have to put it to work. If it doesn't work, then it's not going to be there. So create an investment policy statement. If you need help, I can send you a link and it'll help you build that for yourself. It's a quick tutorial. It'll help you understand your risks and what's associated with it so you can learn that. And there's a lot of other tools out there, but what's important about these tools and where I think ours really can help you is understanding your cognitive ability, understanding your financial behaviors and things about the way your DNA is wired, so that way you can create an investor DNA that really makes sense for you. Number 3, take advantage of all the free money you have. I mean, the best thing that I can do with my clients is show them how to create as much wealth as possible, spend it all and enjoy it, and then use something else to replace it in the future. For instance, like we have these linear asset pay downs where you accumulate wealth up. Instead of living off the interest, which is expensive and taxable, you actually turn around and spend it all down to zero, which is a kind of a crazy idea. But when you do that, you pay less and less tax along the way. And then you can use like an insurance policy that's tax-free to replace all the money. The cash value buildup is there, but then it pays out tax-free. So it becomes the most tax-efficient arbitrage you could possibly get. So how do we make our money work for us and take advantage of this free money that's there, right? Because those lost opportunity costs are all going to be built in to that component. So other benefits are like Roth IRAs. You get these tax-free benefits, 529 plans, and all these things. But the problem with some of those, they limit your money. Insurance is it grows tax deferred, right? So that money's there. And as the interest is earned, this doesn't really pay tax. If you have an investment strategy that's growing with, maybe it's with capital gains treatment versus ordinary income, or it's like retirement plans that grow. So start thinking about what all those, what that free money means to you. Okay, how's that feel? Where's those dollars being picked up? How that is. And that's really done in our cash flow optimizer, where we go through all your cash flow and really look at those types of things. And the fourth thing, you gotta keep money and your costs low. So I find so many people like, hey, Scott, I want this huge house. How much house should I have? Well, you got to have some rules for that. Because if I know if I'm taking 3% and setting aside for these 5 factors, I know I got to save 15% off the top. That only leaves 85% left. Well, then if I take another piece and I have to pay taxes, you can see how it quickly dwindles down. So now, right, if I'm in a 40% bracket, then I've got 55%. So now I got 45% of my money. So if your house is more than 25% of that all in, now you got like 20% for fun stuff and other things like that's factored in. Like you still got to pay for college and all these other stuff. And then you've got, cars and debt and, travel, all that has to fit in that bucket. So if your house gets over that 25% number on monthly cash flow, it could be really detrimental to your future success, which the first person that's going to pay for it is going to take from you, because you'll then be the last person paid versus the first person paid. So we got to keep our costs in check, keep them low. Make sure we're efficient with those things. Make sure we're buying our houses the right way. We're efficient with making sure we're optimizing our tax planning. We're optimizing our debt. We're trying to keep bad debt away. Making sure our good debt is working well for us. So if it is a mortgage, then we know where our tax benefits are, and we've got the low interest rates, and depending on the environment at the time, all those things make a lot of sense. So let's keep our costs low. And then more importantly, number 5, you got to focus on the long run. Where are we headed? What is it? So if you're just setting money aside and you're like, oh, I'm afraid, or you got your emergency reserve and then you've got this stuff and you're afraid, oh, the market's too high, the market's too low, it's not a good time to invest. My cousin, neighbors, someone said this is a dumb thing to do, or the internet says it's bad. You're going to have all these different things. But the reality is, if you're focused on the long term, you have an investment policy statement that's there, you will be in a good position to allow that to work for you. What you need to know is what the amount of risk to return will be. But if you don't take some form of ability to be able to create that opportunity for yourself, it will not be there. So you got to work with a professional, find someone that can really help you through that thought process to really allow you to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there, to really focus in the long run so you can make sure that stuff grows and beats inflation and beats these planned obsolescence and technological changes and increased standards of living and all these pressures that we're under that our money is. Because quite honestly, all the money you set aside is for tomorrow it's for spending it. It's for using it. It's setting aside to be able to have it. So we have to do these things to be able to get there. And those are the 5 secrets to actually retiring rich, is to get there. I like the better option is like financially independent, work optional, rich. Rich means so many things to so many different people. And as always, you need help. We have a great book out there, Future Hack. You can read through it. Programs inside, Future Hack My Life, really help you get through all these things that I'm talking about. And that's all I have for you today.